Welcome to Your Yes-Filled Life. I'm your host, Brenda Winkle, educator, healer, speaker, guide, and fierce advocate for your yes. I help sensitive and successful men and women find, reclaim, and live from their full embodied yes. Through empowering you to understand your energetic hygiene, establish healthy boundaries, and heal your nervous system, you'll be able to create your yes-filled life and move through your days with more freedom, more ease, and more joy. You'll hear inspiring stories of people who found their full-bodied yes, thought leaders who pursued their own dreams and are living life on their terms, and learn new ways to find the courage, joy, ease, and freedom to more fully step into your yes-filled life. Say no to the good so you can say yes to the great. Join me on this journey to discover your yes-filled life. Whether you're looking to break free from the golden handcuffs, start a new business, find your dream job, or simply live with more intention and mindfulness, I've got you covered. Let's explore the possibilities together and make your dreams a reality. Ready? Let's do this. Let's get you to your yes-filled life. Hello, and welcome back to Your Yes-Filled Life. I'm your host, Brenda Winkle. I am so happy you are here today. I have some big news, but first, I want to tell you what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be talking about why you hold yourself back from the things you really want. We are going to jump right into this week's episode, but first, I promised you that I was going to begin bringing you real life clients and testimonials about what it's like to really work with me. And today, I am bringing you someone really special who you are going to get to meet on next week's episode. Her name is Lucia Oliveira. She is a breathwork facilitator and a pediatric sleep coach. And here's what she said about breathwork with me. She said, quote, I had an incredibly positive experience with Brenda as my breathwork facilitator. Her genuine passion and expertise in breathwork created a safe and transformative space for self-exploration. Brenda's intuitive guidance and compassionate support allowed me to delve deeper into my breath and emotions, resulting in profound moments of healing and personal growth. I highly recommend Brenda to anyone seeking a skilled and empathetic facilitator for their breathwork journey. I invite you to give Lucia a follow over on Instagram. You can find her there at Luminous by Lucia. That's LUMINOUS BYLUCIA. Luminous by Lucia. I became a breathwork facilitator because I felt like breathwork was the healing modality that really unlocked all of the other healing modalities that I'm trained in. In fact, it supercharges them. And I have seen tremendous, impactful, almost unbelievable results from my clients as they've engaged with breathwork. In fact, I believe in it so deeply that I now include breathwork as a part of my signature program, Yes Academy. In fact, it's 1-to-1, one breathwork session for one content call. I believe in it that much. Yes Academy is now enrolling, and it is a power-packed room full of high-achieving, beautiful, sensitive, empathetic, empathic, heart-led leaders. If you are looking for a community where people value healing, authenticity, integrity, and transformation, Yes Academy might be the right place for you. I invite you to connect with me on a Find Your Yes discovery call to see if it's right for you, or to see if you might prefer working with me in one of the other two ways I work with people. I work with people in a one-on-one capacity in a program called Heal to the Yes. For an introductory taste, you can book a 2-session package. And then I work with people in 3 and 6 month packages. I also host transformational healing retreats. And the next one is already scheduled. We are going to be meeting on the Oregon coast, August 28th through September 1st. You can go visit my website to learn more about these things. And I will also put a link for each in the show notes. And as always, I would love to have a conversation with you to find the right fit for you in a Find Your Yes discovery session. I'll put a link in the show notes. Go ahead and book one now. Now, let's dive into our episode for today. I want to start today with a story and some news. I have a new dog. I just adopted him from Match Made in Heaven Rescue based here in Portland, Oregon. And he is an absolute delight. He is a gray Wawa. That is a greyhound mixed with a Chihuahua. And he's around 6 months old. He came in with the name Jeremy, but I'm going to call him Bentley. We've been together now. This is day 6. And oh my gosh, it really is a match made in heaven. I'm having so much fun getting to know him, finding a routine with him. And let me tell you, he is so playful and so fun. He loves everybody. He loves all animals. He loves all people. He just can't wait to play with his toys. And we're having a great time. And if you follow me on social media, I'm on Instagram at Brenda Winkle and on Facebook at Brenda Winkle 111. It might be Brenda.Winkle 111. You'll have to look, but I'll be sharing some pictures of him in the coming days. He's been in my stories a few times already, and I can't wait for you to meet him and hear more about him. But first of all, let's dive into our topic for today, why you're holding yourself back from the things you really want. Now, before you tell me, but Brenda, I'm not doing that, I want to say that's possible. It might be true. You might not be holding yourself back from the things that you really want. It's also possible that you are holding yourself back from the things that you really want and not quite aware that you're doing it. And there's a lot of reasons that we do this. We might have a fear of failure or a fear of success. Or perhaps we have a fear of what other people will say or think. Sometimes we have a fear that we couldn't actually handle the thing that we really want. Or we fear that we'll have to change if we get what we really want. Sometimes we have a fear of our relationships shifting or changing if we get what we want. And that keeps us from really claiming what our heart desires. So let's take a look at what that might look like in terms of your daily life. So if you're holding yourself back from the thing that you really want, and that would be like the desire or the thought that keeps crossing your mind. Maybe it's that you really want to write a book, or you really want to change the career, or you have a dream of living in a different place or a different home. Or maybe it's that you really want to enhance or improve your romantic relationship. Or maybe you know that the romantic relationship you're in is no longer serving you. Or perhaps it's that you really want to make new friends and spend time with some new people, but you can't quite get yourself to leave the house. So when this happens, we show this to ourselves in a number of ways. One way might be that if you are noticing yourself complaining about anything, that's an indication that you're holding yourself back from what you really want. So if you think about your conversations with your loved ones, if you're complaining about any situation or circumstance in your life, that's an indicator that you're holding yourself apart from the thing that you really want. You're holding yourself to something you don't really want. Now, I know that the first thing that you might be saying is, but I have this obligation. I have this commitment. We'll get there, okay? Just hang with me for a second as we continue to explore what the problem might look like. So, one way that we know that we're holding ourselves apart from the thing that we want is complaining. Another way that you can know if you're holding yourself apart from the thing that you really want is you're spending time doing things that don't move the needle. So, an example of this might be if you are in, let's say, let me give you an example from my own life. I was a Mary Kay sales director. And One of the things that I used to do when I was not moving the needle was I was dusting off the product on my shelves. Now, I don't know if you know much about Mary Kay, but Mary Kay is a home-based consultant business, and nobody cares what my closet filled with product looked like. Was it nice to have it clean? Yeah, it was nice to have it clean. But was that moving the needle on my sales or my customer retention or growing customers? No, not at all. In fact, no one knew that I was dusting off the product on my shelves except me. But it was a way for me to pretend that I was staying busy and quote working, but I wasn't doing anything to move the needle. This shows up for us in a number of ways. Like, here's another example. Let's say you have a business and you are in a service industry, and instead of reaching out to real live people, whether that means in person or on social media, you are continuing to revamp your website over and over and over again, changing fonts, changing colors, redesigning logos, but you're not talking to people. That's an example of something that's not moving the needle. Here's another example. If you really want to have a new house and all you do is favorite homes on Zillow, you search every night, you look for the perfect home, you've got all your filters set and you like all these homes, but you never talk to a real estate agent or set foot inside any of these homes, it doesn't move the needle. You're not getting any closer to the home that you want by simply searching on Zillow. So that's another example. So the first example of a way that you might be holding yourself apart from the thing you really want is you find yourself complaining. The second thing is you spend time doing things that don't move the needle. The third thing that you might do if you're holding yourself apart from the thing you really want is you might be numbing. We numb out in a number of ways. In fact, I would go so far as to say there are countless ways that you can numb. Some of the most popular ways, and by popular, I mean common, numbing out by scrolling social media is at the top of many people's lists. It's a great way to avoid feeling the thing you don't want to feel. You just open your phone and you start to scroll. Another way that people numb is they might overeat or emotionally eat. That's very, very, very common. Another way that people numb is by perhaps engaging in too much alcohol or recreational drugs. If you've ever said the phrase, I need a drink after a long day of work, that is a classic indicator that you're numbing. Now, I don't want to make numbing wrong or bad. It's not, it's a coping mechanism. It doesn't mean you're a bad person if you numb. It means that you have something you're not looking at and that you're not wanting to feel. That's why you numb. We can numb with any number of behaviors that keep us from dealing with the thing that we really need to deal with. That could be any time that we find ourselves engaging in activities that either don't bring us joy or don't move the needle. So, an example of a way that some of us end up numbing is we end up rearranging the furniture in our house. It doesn't move the needle, but it makes us feel better because it makes us feel like we're doing something. So we kind of invent work to do around the house. It doesn't have to be done, but it's a great way to avoid doing the thing that we really want to do. Does that resonate? So the three ways we've talked about so far that you might be holding yourself apart from what you really want is complaining, spending time doing things that don't move the needle, and numbing. And the fourth way that you might really know if that you're holding yourself apart from the thing you really want is blame. If you are finding yourself blaming anything or anyone, that is a beautiful indicator that you are holding yourself apart from what you really want. Because the truth is, if you're finding blame, it means that you are not taking personal responsibility. Now, I know that that might sting just a little bit, especially if nobody's given you tough love like that before to really call it like it is. But the truth is, you are responsible for your own experience and you are responsible for the energy that you bring to any situation or relationship. So if things aren't going well and you're blaming, it means that you're not doing anything to change the situation in a productive way. Because when we get into an energy of blame, we're no longer remembering that you are an incredible, powerful being of light, and you have the capacity and the ability, and I'll just say it, the responsibility to start creating the change that you really want to experience. So when you get engaged into blame, it's all his fault. It's all her fault. It's because of my job. It's because of this circumstance. It's because of where I live. It's because of fill in the blank. That is an outsourcing of responsibility, and it's also giving away your power. So let me tell you a little story. When I moved into my apartment in Beaverton, after I sold my house in Sherwood slash Tigard slash Beaverton, I was an empty nester. And when I mean empty nester, I mean my daughter, Maya, took our dog, Jane, and moved out with her. So when I became an empty nester, I went from having my daughter living full time with me. We had throughout the course of Maya's growing up, we'd always had dogs and even cats when she was really young, but we'd always had pets. And so I went from having a house that was filled with people and, my daughter's friends and our dogs and our friends' dogs and all the dogs to living in an apartment completely alone. I mean, my nest was empty. I had plants and I do love my plants, but they weren't really feeling like they were keeping me company in the same way that a dog or a human would keep me company. And by the second week of living in the apartment, I felt a loneliness that I have literally never felt. In fact, I started to wonder if I was in reality because there would be days that would pass and I wouldn't see another human. And it wasn't for lack of trying. I would walk around my neighborhood. I would walk around the apartment. I would walk around the grounds. And I literally didn't see another person for 3 days in the middle of my second week in that apartment. And at the time, I didn't really understand what I needed to do to make that happen. I just knew I was really lonely and seriously starting to question, like, am I okay? I mean, really, am I okay? Is there something wrong with me? Am I like, what is happening? And then somewhere in the middle of the second week of October, I looked up on the wall and I saw a stink bug. One of those bugs that's about a half an inch long and maybe a quarter of an inch wide. And if you accidentally step on them or scare them, they release a fragrance that is really strong. Well, when I saw that stink bug, instead of trying to take it outside or being scared of it or repulsed, I felt relief. I felt relief that I was no longer the only living being in my apartment. And then when I realized that that was the thought that I had, relief, I realized I was like literally hanging on the edge of a cliff. So when I was a little girl, we had a dog when I was about 5, maybe 6 years old. And her name was Princess. And she was a Scottish Terrier mix. And I don't really know what that means, except that she was a black dog. She was kind of medium sized. She had a little brown splotch on her throat. And she was my sister and my like best friend. We loved her. And it was so fun because we'd always wanted a dog. And finally we had this dog. And she was just so much fun. She was kind of puppy-ish. I don't think she was a puppy, but she was puppy-ish and playful, and she liked to chew things and she liked to play. And we hadn't had her for very long. And we went to my grandparents' house for Christmas. And we got a phone call while we were there, and it was the person who had been dog sitting and house sitting for Princess, and Princess had eaten a ball and it had gotten lodged in her intestine and she died. And I was really sad. And my sister was really sad and my parents were really sad and we were all really sad. And so when we got home from my grandparents, we immediately thought, okay, we need to get another dog. So we read the paper, the Shadron Record, because we lived in Shadron, Nebraska at the time. We read the paper and we found that there was a family trying to rehome a dog that was a Basset Hound mix named Cricket. So we adopted Cricket. Well, Cricket wanted nothing to do with us, nothing at all. Cricket couldn't care less if we fed her or him, it might have been a him, um, if we fed him, if we played with him. He didn't want anything to do with us. He wanted his old family. And he continued to run away from us. And when I mean run away, I mean he would leave our house, our yard, and walk back to his original family. Shadron was kind of a small town, had about 6,000 people, and it was totally possible for this dog to walk home. Was it safe? Oh, well, that's questionable. But anyway, that happened 3 times. On the third time, the family that had given Cricket away said, we're not we're not going to give Cricket away. It's obvious that he wants to live with us. So we lost our second dog. And I was really sad again. So then my parents thought, okay, let's get a puppy. So we got another puppy. My sister and I were still grieving the loss of Princess, and we were still grieving the loss of Cricket. And so we named this a Westminster Highland Terrier Cricket. So Cricket the second, a way of not acknowledging that we needed a change. Anyway, Cricket the second, the terrier, became a part of our family, and he was a puppy. He came in with black fur and then ended up with kind of a grayish white fur. And when he was less than a year old, my sister was playing in the leaves and she had an asthma attack, and it was her very first one. She was 3. It was very scary and very serious. And afterward, we went to a specialist in Denver and we realized that my sister had an allergy to dogs. So we had to find a new home for Cricket the second. So in less than a year, we had lost 3 dogs. So that was when I was about 5. When I became an adult, I made a promise to myself that I really wanted to always have an animal in the house because I just value their company so much. I feel like they add so much joy. And so when I lost Hutch and became an empty nester, the logical thing would have been for me to get another dog. But that's not what I did. What I did was decided that I needed to take the time and space to really heal from losing Hutch, my dachshund, who died in July of 2022, and then readjusting to being an empty nester. My daughter and I are still close. We still see each other fairly often, but it's very different when they move out. And that really, that trying to muscle through, trying to power through all of those tough emotions was what put me in the apartment, staring at the wall, being grateful there's a bug. Well, you know, everything always works out for us. And around that same period of time was when my trauma informed breathwork facilitator program began. In fact, my very first lab was the day that I moved into that apartment. And so I experienced breathwork for the first time on my first day in the apartment. Not the first time that I experienced breathwork, but first time in that program. It literally, it literally helped me heal. It helped me gain clarity around the choices that I was making. It helped me heal the hurt, the grief, the loss, and it helped me really get clear around what I wanted. And I've always been intuitive. If you know anything about me, if you've read my about me on my website, or if you've listened to the podcast for any length of time, you know that I am highly intuitive. But through breath work, I tapped into a new level of intuition, and it really saved me. Because when I discovered breath work, I realized that the number one priority is for me to make sure that I'm feeling good. Because if I'm feeling good, it means that I'm doing the things that light me up. It means that I'm doing the things that are energy rich. And it also means that when I'm doing the things that are energy rich that light me up, I can better serve. I am a better mother, a better daughter, a better sister. I'm a better energy healer, a better breathwork facilitator. I'm a better human. Because the truth is, what's good for me is good for everybody. And the same is also true for you. What's good for you is good for everybody in your life because you show up differently when your needs are met. So, breath work allowed me to tap into the intuition, and it also allowed me the healing to reach back out to Katie, who is the director of the Match Made in Heaven Rescue Organization. And I told Katie that I was anticipating a move out of the apartment about 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, and said that I really was ready to get a dog. And she had been through the loss of Hutch with me and knew that it was hard on me and knew that I had kind of struggled with fostering dogs even after the loss of Hutch. And she asked me some questions that were like, "Are you sure you're ready? Are you sure, you are ready to put your heart, like throw it over the bar and really commit to another dog?" And I took my time in answering and got really clear and realized, "Yes, I am ready. I am ready." And then out of the blue, Katie texted me and said, "Hey, we have this adoption event coming up. Why don't you come?" And I thought she wanted me to volunteer, and I was all in. I was like, "Yeah, of course. Of course. That sounds really fun." But then I realized she wanted me to come to the adoption event because she wanted me to meet the adoptable dogs. And not only that, but when I got there, she had 3 dogs that she really thought might be a good fit for me and my lifestyle. And she thought that they would also resonate with me. And so she had me meet these 3 dogs and their 3 foster parents. And let me tell you, they were some of the cutest and most adoptable, best dogs. Um, I just had the best time. And then I went home from that event. And I got all up in my head. And all of the fears that I was telling you about at the beginning of this episode really came to the forefront. Fear of failure. What if I can't handle the dog? Fear of success. What if I really love the dog and then, and then something else happens and I lose the dog? I mean, that's also a fear of failure. What will people think if I just move into this house? I'm not even unpacked and I adopt a dog. What if I can't handle a new dog? What if that means I'm going to have to change my routines? Well, obviously, it did mean I have to change all my routines. And it did mean that there were some people who disagreed with the fact that I adopted a dog before I'm done moving into the house. But you know what? It has been the best thing. We've gotten to unpack together. We've gotten to set up our routine together. We're getting to know the house together. We're getting to set it up so that Bentley has places and landing pads and a little office area in my office and a little bed in my room, although he sleeps in my bed, a little corner in the living room. I don't know why I say corner. He takes up the entire living room with all of his toys. It looks like a toddler lives in my house. But it's been so good. It's been incredibly joy filled. In fact, it's been so much fun and so joyful that I can tell that my creativity is on fire. I can tell that my ability to show up for my clients, my daughter, my parents, my sister, my friends is really increased. So here are some of the things. There's 5 things that I really discovered in the course of this journey with Bentley, the gray Wawa. Here's number 1. We think we stay safe by not following our intuitive nudges or those repeating thoughts. We ignore them because we think that that is safety. I would challenge that and say status quo is not necessarily safety. It's familiar. And there's a difference. Number two, we make excuses and tell ourselves stories about why this isn't the right time, why this isn't the right place, why it's not the right amount of investment. But those are really stories. If we wanted to do it, there will be a way. And the minute you decide you really want to do it and you're going to do it, the way will appear. And it will be so much easier than you think. Number three, we keep delaying joy because we tell ourselves it's easier that way. But is it really? I mean, I have been wanting to offer a free masterclass each month. And I was kind of struggling with the topic for the next masterclass for the month of July. But I tell you what, one day after having Bentley, I sat down, wrote out the curriculum for the masterclass, got the sales page launched, got the email sequence created, and boom, I am so much more productive because I'm having so much fun. I feel good. I'm joyful. I am having a little hiking buddy. I'm having someone to laugh at as he throws his toys in the air. And it's really impacting my work in a very positive way. I am more productive. I am more creative. I am more impactful because I allowed myself to experience the joy of having Bentley. Number four, we think that what other people say or think matters. But the truth is, the people who love us most want us to be happy. And the minute that they see us happy, they put down their resistance. Many times, the people in our lives are trying to talk us out of doing something because they don't want us to experience hurt or heartbreak or letdown. We have to be brave enough to trust our own knowing, our own intuition, our own wisdom to know what's right for us. And you always do know what's right for you. And I'll talk more about that in just a second. And number five, you are going to increase your productivity, creativity, abundance, and intuition when you allow yourself to tap into and really experience the joy of whatever it is that you are desiring. Now, this is all for naught if you don't understand this one point. So if you're multitasking, I'm going to invite you to come back to me right now so that you can really hear this. The only thing that matters is that you prioritize feeling good. Do what lights you up. Do what brings you joy and feels fun. It might not seem like it matters to the other things in your life because it's not directly related. But energy has no walls. If you are happy and joy filled, you are also energy rich. And that transfers to every area in your life. You become the magnet for everything that you desire simply because you are feeling good. Now, I know that because you're listening to your Yes Filled Life podcast, you are someone who values relationships. You value integrity and you want to be of service to the world. The most impactful way that you can increase your capacity to serve is by tending to your own alignment and prioritizing the things that make you feel good. Now, I recognize that it can be hard sometimes to even determine what those things are. So I'm going to invite you into a masterclass. It's a free masterclass and breathwork called Unlock Your Intuitive Gifts and Tap into Your Inner Wisdom. In this free masterclass that's going to be held on Wednesday, July 26th at 9 a.m. Pacific, you're going to discover the power of your inner wisdom and harness your intuitive gifts. It's a 60-minute masterclass and breathwork session. And you're going to get to unlock the secrets of your intuition and your inner wisdom. Imagine having a direct line of communication to your deepest insights, receiving the guidance and clarity whenever you need it. In this masterclass, Unlock Your Intuitive Gifts and Tap into Your Inner Wisdom is a transformational journey that will empower you to embrace your innate intuitive abilities and harness their immense potential. So, what's intuition and why does it matter? Well, intuition is a powerful tool that lives inside each of us. It's that inner voice that guides you, nudging you to the right path, and providing you with profound insights and clarity. However, many of us have lost touch with this incredible gift, leaving us feeling uncertain and disconnected from our true selves. In this masterclass, you're going to get to explore the nature of intuition and its impact on your life. You'll gain a deeper understanding of how it works and why it's essential for personal growth, decision making, and overall well being. Prepare to embark on a journey of self discovery that will forever change the way you navigate the world. Imagine being able to trust your instincts, making decisions with confidence, and receiving guidance from a higher source. This masterclass is designed to help you unlock and develop your unique intuitive gifts, empowering you to tap into your intuition whenever you need it. You are going to learn, number one, how to cultivate and strengthen your innate intuitive abilities. Number two, how to trust your intuition to make empowered decisions. Number three, connect to your spirit guides and receive their wisdom. Number four, enhance your creativity and problem solving skills through intuition. And number five, integrate intuition into your everyday life for transformative results. So, I'm going to be leading this masterclass. I'm an energy healer for high performers, a trauma informed breathwork facilitator, and I've been featured in Authority magazine 2 times, with a third coming out in August. I've been interviewed by a BBC journalist and been commissioned to write in a leading women's magazine in the UK. I know what I'm doing when it comes to intuition and energy. This masterclass has been carefully crafted to provide you with the knowledge, tools, and practices that you need to unlock your intuitive potential and tap into your inner wisdom. You'll get to join a supportive community of like minded individuals. You can become a vibrant and supportive part of this community and get the support that you want with individuals on a similar path of self discovery. I'm so excited for this masterclass. I hope that you come join us. You can register by going to the link in the show notes or go directly to brendawinkle.com/unlock to save your space for this masterclass on July 26th at 9 a.m. Pacific. There is a limited time replay. Thank you so much for listening to Your Yes Filled Life. I hope that you have loved this episode. And if you have, would you please consider sharing it with a friend and giving the podcast a rating and a review? It may not seem like a big deal to you, but you giving the podcast a rating and a review is incredibly helpful to the podcast, because the more ratings and reviews, and I should specify positive ratings and reviews a podcast has, the more likely it is to show up in the feed of someone who really needs it. And let's face it, we all need more joy, more expansion, more peace, and we all have a desire to live our yes-filled life. Thanks for listening. Bye for now. Until next time.